This is me. This is Miss Liz. This was about 16 years ago, and this is us now. Miss Liz was my nanny for 13 years. She joined our family when I was 6 months old, and I would even consider her a second mom. Towards the end of 2020, during the first winter of the pandemic, I went to visit Miss Liz in Brooklyn. Due to a health issue, she wasn't able to work and did not leave her house often, even before the pandemic. By the end of 2020, she was leaving the house only to go to the doctor. As I waved goodbye, I wondered why she was still in the US. Why wasn't she back in Guyana with her children and grandchildren? This made me wonder why she had come to the States in the first place, and whether she felt she had made a good choice. I thought I knew everything about her, but I didn't even know her real story. Throughout New York City and the tri-state area, many people have their own Miss Liz's. They are often invisible to many of us. Each has her own story. Some come to the US when they are young, some when they are older, some are married and some aren't. Some have children and some don't. The stories are stories of courage, determination, strength, sacrifice, generosity, love, and at the center of it all, the importance of family. Miss D is my cousin's nanny. She is 70 years old and is also from Guyana. She is warm and loving and very funny. She is a woman of very strong faith, and we all look forward to her prayers at every occasion. She was born in the northern part of Guyana, in an area called Berbice, but she grew up in a mining town called Mackenzie, where her father worked with the town's bauxite company.
My father, he works at the Denver, those days were Denver Bauxite Company. My mom, she was a seamstress, working hard, peddling the sewing machine to get clothes and things for the kids to go to school. It was very hard.
They were not well-to-do, but all of the children attended secondary school, and their parents had high expectations of them, especially of Miss D. After leaving school, Miss D went to cooking school and began to work as a chef at Blair's Delight.
And I was a supervisor there. And working there, it was very, 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 very hard. I used to go in from 4 to 12 to cater for people. You know, those days were white people days. You have to dress in your white apron, your white cap. You have to be neat. And there is where my life started.
All was going well for Miss D, and one day, a T-bone steak she had made caught the attention of a particular Guyanese customer, and they soon fell in love.
From there, I got my first boyfriend.
Sometime later, Miss D's parents discovered that she was pregnant, and they were not pleased, because in those days, women were expected to be married before having children, and even though Miss D was at 24 at the time, her parents were furious.
He took me to the doctor, left, he went home, and when we got home, I had a licks in my skin. It was so tremendous. My mom put on a beating on me. When I tell you she flogged me because why? She didn't expect that from me.
Miss D eventually got married to her love, and they had 3 children together. She began to work as a nanny for 2 families. Soon, however, the financial responsibilities began to take over.
I tried with my kids. I tried with them. But it wasn't easy when I leave Friday to go to Berbice. But when to come back, there is when my children would burst into tears and crying for their mom. They were crying for their mom like if I abandoned my kids, but I did not abandon my kids. is to make better for my kids, because I didn't get enough help from the father, and I am the only source.
Ms. D needed to find opportunities, earn more outside of Guyana. Her goal was to provide more for her children in a way that she could not if she stayed in Guyana. The best way to describe how Ms. D was able to get a visa to the US and to leave Guyana without her husband knowing was through her unwavering faith that God would provide a path for her.
Zena, who works at the office, and Zena saw what was going on in a relationship with my husband and different women. That was a breakthrough for me to come to this United States of America. She said, everybody in this office, the wife and the husband, get visa to the States. You don't have a visa and you come back at the right time. She said, go bring your passport and I'm going to fill in this document and send it to the embassy to see if you go get a visa. When you go into the American embassy, every morning a plane used to pass over the house. I don't know which direction it go in, but I raised my hand to that plane, that jet, and I said, one of these days, I will be on that plane. You said, ask, and it shall be given unto you.
So at the age of 46, Ms. D left Guyana to seek more opportunities and create a better life for herself and for her children. According to the World Bank, at the time that Ms. D arrived in New York, payments from the Guyanese living in the US to the family members in Guyana was approximately $14 million a year. Payments to Guyana grew to approximately $470 million in 2012. These figures reveal the significant amount of money that family members in Guyana received from those who left to seek better financial opportunities. Across the river from Mackenzie was Wismar, where another woman whose name was Edna was facing similar challenges as Ms. D. Egbert and Edna also wanted to provide the best opportunities for their 6 children, including one of their daughters, Barbara, who was particularly smart. Barbara is 59, a mother and a grandmother. She is also a partner at a leading U.S. law firm where she represents domestic and international companies in business transactions. Barbara grew up in the 1960s and 70s in a large, loving family and a supportive, close-knit community. Her family was poor but industrious. Her parents instilled the importance of education as a means to advancing one's lot in life.
You grow up thinking that you have to do well by your parents. That is just part of the culture. And in order to do well by your parents, you need to have some kind of career path that would allow you to support them financially. We always knew that, like I said, in Guyana, your progress is defined by, just the 3 sort of professions. You have to be a professional. And you know that you either have to be a teacher, a doctor, a lawyer. Engineers were also included in that.
Barbara graduated from high school with a distinction in literature. Based on her love of literature, she hoped to win a Bauxite Company scholarship to study library sciences abroad, and then return to Wismar as a librarian. Although this path did not materialize, it was the community, her extended family in a sense, that gave her the opportunity to leave Guyana. A member of the community and a mentor to Barbara guaranteed the loan from a bank that paid for her airplane ticket. So, at the age of 19, Barbara took her very first flight to New York. This was 17 years before Ms. D would leave Guyana herself. As Barbara mentioned, her motivation to leave Guyana to discover the American dream was based on her desire to do well for herself and for her family. For Barbara, homesickness took a backseat to finding a job, any job.
It was just the focus, the opportunity, and the ability to take advantage of the opportunity. It was very hard to sort of like be distracted by homesickness and stuff like that. Of course, as time went on, I think when I initially came, the excitement of having gotten here and thinking about what you're going to do and how you're going to make it so that you can help the family was so top of mind that it wasn't. I think where I got homesick as time went by, and you realize you can't go home, right? It will take years for you to actually go back to Guyana. That's when I think it starts to hit you.
Even though she was educated to the point where she had the equivalent of college credits, she soon learned from the Guyanese network in New York that the easiest job to get would be as a nanny or as a babysitter. And there were other pressures to start working soon as well. Not only did Barbara have to send money home for her family's general upkeep, she also had to make sure that her mother did not default on the loan that she had taken from the bank for Barbara's airplane ticket. If her mother did not repay the loan on time, her mentor, who had guaranteed the loan, could lose his home.
There were times when I missed home. Like I said, we're a very close family, but the emphasis on trying to make sure that you keep your eyes on the prize. And like I said, I had to pay my mom, pay back the money. And also, what's the point of coming here and then going back without nothing to show for it?
Barbara's first job was working as a live-in nanny for a family living on the Upper East Side of Manhattan.
I started looking for a job as a nanny, and I registered for an agency. You come here, and then the whole point is that you live in because you can, they're able to, you don't have any choice, right? So it's sort of, demand and supply. The people who were able to live out, what we could use to call live out, you had to have been here for a while, paid your dues, you had to have your papers and stuff like that, because, then you're really like the regular way sort of, nanny or babysitter. Live-in was for people who, needed that round-the-clock care and would get it at a decent clip, where you're not paying full freight. If you're living out, they're paying you money because they're not paying your room and board. It's just economic reality that if you are going to be a live-in nanny, the person, the family that you're living with are gonna, from their perspective, we're providing you room and board, so we can't pay you the same rate that we would pay if we are giving, if you're living out. Very rarely live-in nannies get to work 5 days a week. You're really 6 days, 6.5, because you get like a day and a half away.
As she became a part of the larger network of immigrants, she found her bearings in New York and tried to create a life beyond her live-in job.